welcome to another 60-minute sports episode. My name is Christopher ZIDANE Matthews.
And I'm VENGA, the rational one.
Your wish, your dreams.
Always rational, folks.
All right, viewers, so today we will have a discussion about Tappa Whitmore, the coach of the Jamaica men's senior national team. He's still in the job right now. We're not sure what will happen, but you're understanding that the executive of the JFF will look into the findings by the what they call that committee?
The technical committee?
Yes, the technical committee who voted that Tappa should go as coach. They have not made a decision yet. Hopefully they make the right decision in the coming week. We are hearing a lot of things as to why the decision has not been made just yet. Have you heard anything?
Well, what I will say at this point is that if your technical people has made a recommendation and you as the president has denied or rejected such a recommendation and we fail to qualify for the World Cup, your head is gone as the president. And the voting public, the electorate, although it's narrow, should look at it to see why the president of the JFF has not accepted this recommendation, which is only prudent that you accept your technical people's advice. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yes, because that's what you brought them in for.
Exactly.
For them to advise you to make decisions. And there's nothing I'm seeing here to suggest that the executive of the JFF could look another way other than to what the technical committee is saying. Because let me tell you, viewers, Tappa asks for a lot, and while in other countries it might be the norm, this is the norm, and he likes to talk about the norm. Indeed. It's not normal in Jamaica. They started to get chartered flights. They got 2 masseuses. They got their own chef. They got a video personnel to analyze the videos. They got games of 20 different games of the teams that they're facing in terms of their strengths, their weaknesses. I don't know what they call it. There's a thing that they put in the backs of players to track.
They tracking the GPS tracking.
The GPS tracking to see how long they're running or how long they can run for.
Yes, covered.
They got that for the players as well. This was unprecedented in Jamaica. So Tappa basically got everything he wanted, but Tappa just could not manage the situation. He doesn't manage the players well. He doesn't select the right players. He doesn't know how to choose the best players. I don't understand what Tappa was doing.
Well, I'm getting information that there is a division in the camp and there is threatening strike action. I'm hearing that the local based players or local born players, they are on the side of Tappa Whitmore. And if it is that Tappa is fired, there's going to be industrial action. And I think the president of the JFF wanting to stave off some amount of industrial action, he's trying to do some form of tightroping, which is not good at this time based on where we are and trying to qualify. So if it is that you fire Whitmore and there's industrial action, I will say the recommendation I would give to the JFF president is that you replace the players who are on industrial action.
I find it difficult, viewers, to see a player who claims that he loves his country and wants to play for his country and wants to qualify for the rugby for his country because a coach was fired. Obviously, because of a poor run of form. If you look at Jamaica's last 15 or so games, not a lot of victories. 1 win and a couple of drawn games. The trend is saying that Tappa doesn't know how to win football games. And I hear somebody on radio today and over the last couple of days suggesting that if you think you still have a chance, you should keep the current coach. No! The recent results of this current coach is suggesting that he doesn't win football games on a consistent basis. You now need wins. We have like 6 games remaining. You need at least 5 victories.
Well, football is driven by results, and there's nowhere in the world that you're going to have a string of failures and you still remain in the job. It's not the culture, it's not the norm in football. And one of the things that we keep doing in Jamaica is going beyond, outside of the grain of the culture of football. And this continues to happen. But I will add, because the public needs to know what is happening behind the scene, why we're having this brouhaha. And as it stands now, the local born players, if you remember, some time ago, they had some amount of dispute with the JFF as for monies per diem, how much per game, the usual money dispute. And I heard that Whitmore backed the players in this regard, and they were able to come to some form of compromise. And so I'm thinking, at this point, they are returning the favor.
It is interesting, and it's not far-fetched. I've heard some of the things he's saying as well, that a lot of the senior players, local-born players, are standing with Tappa and saying that Tappa should not lose his job right now. He still is the man for the job, but the results are not suggesting that. The players telling us that it's not his fault, but it's their fault? That's what they're saying. If you still think he should be in charge, you're saying that the results in the last 15 games overall, not talking the World Cup qualifiers only. So I'm saying if you go back, Whitmore track record in recent months in football games is suggesting that he doesn't win games consistently. We now need, it's not a if and or but, we need to win games consistently. Whitmore has not proven that, so he has to go. We have to find somebody who's going to be brave, because you have to be brave to win football games. He's not a brave coach, so we need a change, and we need it right now.
And it goes beyond this point. The JFF president, if he had a grip or a handle on things, we should have had a settled squad before the Gold Cup. So the Gold Cup would be a trial, so to speak, a test run, and to see how we are measuring up against the best teams in CONCACAF. We did not take that approach, and at the final moment, you see we're 8 people coming in, 6 people coming in, 3 people coming in, and that's not the norm.
You're blaming JFF for that?
Yes.
No, that is the responsibility of the coach.
Well, guess what?
You have the team. If he got the job in 2016, we are now in 2021.
Well,
he should have had a settled squad before the
And if you are the president, right, you are the person that is voted in by the electorate, and you see where the trajectory is not where it should be, then the coach should have been gone long ago. Remember, folks, this is a coach that has had, you hear about 2 bites at the cherry, 2 dozen bites at the cherry. Right? This is a person that has been recycled over and over without any proper football credentials, and has been failing throughout. So if it is that you are the director, the chairman, or the head, the JFF president, and you keep hiring a failure, your head must go.
All right, I tell you, he mentioned Gold Cup, and the squad should have been settled by then. Not getting into if it was settled or not, but I want to tell you that I'm understanding that technical committee may have said to the JFF after the Gold Cup that this is not the man for the job. Let me repeat, I'm understanding from brilliant sources, from good sources, that the technical committee warned the JFF about continuing with Tappa Whitmore as the coach going into the qualifiers. I'm understanding that if it was for the technical committee alone, then Tappa would not have started the campaign. I'm understanding they doubled down after the first 3 fixtures, that is Mexico, Panama, and then Costa Rica. That was 1 point from 9, possibly 9 points. They said after that again, he should be out. I warned you. They said, we warned you before the start that he's not going to cut it. And the JFF is sticking with him. Folks, I don't know why. There are rumors about outside interference, players, as he mentioned, wanting to back Tappa and all of that, but they were warned.
I am not letting off the technical committee either. If you are on that technical committee and you have met and made a decision as to the way forward, and this is rejected, then the technical committee should do the honorable thing and resign, to show the public that, listen, we as the technical experts have recognized the shortcomings and the downfall. We have made our recommendation. Resign and call a press conference and explain to the public, right? Because remember, it's not a private entity. It's Jamaica Football Federation, right? This is the public's business. It's not a private entity. It's not a private club. It's not Barcelona. It's not Arsenal, right? So you make a recommendation. It's not accepted. The ship is sinking. Jump off technical committee.
I see your point, but to be fair to the technical committee, the World Cup qualifiers was always the main thing, and they probably think that, listen, even though we think in our opinion that he's not going to do it, the JFF will understand that they're giving him the leeway, because that's what they hired him for, to get it done at this stage. But
Zidane,
yes,
in preparing for a World Cup, you don't prepare while the campaign is going on. Panama has had a settled squad long before. People complain that Costa Rica still has its old, antiquated squad, but they have prepared long ago and in using the talent that they are sure of and what they know about. So everybody has prepared before the World Cup.
I hear you.
And if it is that you don't prepare, then you're going to be having this kind of this course.
Viewers, I hear him and I understand the point he's making, but I don't think the biggest issue is the squad not being settled. I think the biggest issue is Tappa Whitmore inability to manage the talent. He doesn't want the big. I'm understanding that Tappa Whitmore, if it was him alone, then Mikel Antonio would not have been here for the El Salvador and American game. I think there's something that happened that allowed extra space, and then Antonio came.
There's no
so Tappa Whitmore doesn't want these big players. That's why he dropped Ravel from the previous game. Tappa Whitmore just has gotten it all wrong in terms of his management, team selection, tactics, style of play. Everything was so wrong. And again, people, I was advised, I was told that the technical committee warned JFF that Tappa Whitmore will not get the job done right after the Gold Cup.
But you know, one of the interesting things, I am hearing again that the top players from England, they do not play to instructions, in particular Ravel Mars. Now, if you can manage the top talent as the coach or slash manager as the English would say, then you don't deserve to be there. And the JFF president must recognize Whitmore's inability to manage the situation. He's not in charge of the dressing room. And if it is that you have lost the dressing room, forget about it. You're not going to qualify.
That sounds like something that Pap would say. Ravel Morris is the best passer as midfielders. He's not starting. Sounds like some Tappa excuse. Oh, he doesn't follow instruction. He came on against El Salvador and he made some very, very brilliant passes. I don't want him to follow instructions. I want him to make brilliant passes. We don't want him on the field to follow your stupid instructions. Tappa Whitmore, pack up your things and go. Do the right thing. They can't give a thing.
When one politician would say, pack your bags and go. All right, Whitmore, your time has expired. Do the honorable thing. If they're not going to fire, resign, Tappa.
Do the honorable thing.
Resign.
I doubt he will do that, though, viewers. But that's one aspect of why we didn't qualify for this World Cup. But viewers,
why we didn't qualify for this World Cup?
Yeah, we won't qualify. We won't qualify. But there's a bigger issue, and the issue is
we're going to qualify.
We're going to qualify. Right? It won't happen. The bigger issue is, viewers, why Jamaica, even though we love football and play so much football, we don't produce quality players. You want to take a shot at that?
Well, if our big tournament in Jamaica is Manning Cup football, and folks, you have heard it from the principal. It's what Issa they're called.
Yes.
And they have said it that our schools. Let me see if I can sound like our schools is not an academy.
Yeah.
Kids are here to do schoolwork, and you must have particular qualifications, academic qualifications to play football. No. Just digest that for a moment. If it is that you're going to take that stance about academic qualification to play football, then it's a no-brainer, you know. You automatically delete, yeah, that sounds like a good modern word. You delete some of the talent. You're excluding people, you're restricting people. So that in itself is a hindrance to some players. There are players who play, well, let's use Trenchtown, because Trenchtown is no more. Nobody going to say I'm bad mouthing their school at this point. Trenchtown, they don't have the facility like George's and such the like, so they're not going to have the prerequisite, which is the scholastic achievement.
You're blaming schoolboy football for us not producing quality.
Well, this is where we say we produce our talent. This is where our talent comes from, right? And this is the same set of people that grows up in the system and go on to play our local Premier League, which is another bush league. That's another discussion unto itself. Yeah. And so I'm looking at the roots, where it all started.
But what about the clubs, though?
Well,
I understand the argument, because I think our elite players, young players, are wasting valuable time when they could be working to develop their tactical and technical skills playing against inferior opponents in schoolboy football, when they should be doing it at the club level. But where does the club stand? Because they are the professional organization here. Their job is solely to develop footballers.
All right.
So how do you knock the clubs from helping us in terms of
we have a system here in Jamaica where the clubs are cash strapped, right? And they're trying to get a little pittance in winning and remaining in our premier competition. Now, none of the clubs have an academy. No club in Jamaica have an academy. It was a few outsiders, Craig Butler, myself, Baron Marshall, Mosiah, and a couple others who decided that we're going to deviate from the system that the dinosaurs created and take some trips to Europe, make contacts, and get people out there. And you see it producing the likes of Leon Bailey. So if everybody was to come on board, including JFF, and we have a proper system in place, where people are taught to play football from a tender age, then we will be like the Belgians
Yes.
and start producing.
Because we're lacking in that regard, and something needs to be done. Because people, Mikel Antonio was never called for the English national team. You really think if Mikel Antonio was a big footballer, England would allow him to play for Jamaica? He's been in England for all his life. Think about it. But he comes here, he scores a brilliant goal and a very good goal, and we think he's the second coming of Pele. That's how lacking we have of quality players that Mikel Antonio seems like God to us. And Mikel Antonio is a very, very ordinary player in England. Think about it, viewers. So we need to move away from every English reject. We're frightened for them and think them as some big footballer.
No,
we need to be producing close to that ability and above. We're not supposed to be beneath that. So Mikel Antonio could walk in a reggae boy side every day of the week and twice on Sunday, and he's not a world-class player. We need to produce at that level and above instead of beneath that level. It's a joke, and if we continue to struggle to qualify for the World Cup if we don't produce better players ourselves.
Let me just come in defense of Mikel Antonio. I distance myself from my co-host who is saying Mikel Antonio is an ordinary player. I do not subscribe to that. What I will say that Mikel Antonio is a late bloomer and currently is the best striker on form in England. England has pretty much a settled squad, a settled starting 11. But the position that Mikel is vying for is Harry Kane position, who is obviously a better player at this point than Mikel Antonio. Had it been earlier in his career where he was settled and was blooming, like for example Raheem Sterling, he would have been there. And folks, one of the things I want to point out to you, we're not getting a England B, players that are rejected by England so they play for Jamaica. No, it's England C, because the players who are rejected by England, they're still waiting to be called up.
And some of them would have been capped one or two times.
Right.
Yes.
They're still in the wings waiting and hoping. So they're not going to commit to the reggae boys.
It's really
so
best
the
point
players
players ever made. It's really
really. It's England. We're getting England C. There is the player has to be sure there is absolutely no chance of him making that England squad, not 11, squad, before he commits to Jamaica. So we the president of the JFF need to sort things out. And if not, we're going to be continuing to struggle.
Yes, it might as well invest the money, because it might take 10 years to get it right. But I tell you, if you invest the money in grassroots, the club's not doing it, Money Cup definitely will not do it.
Can't afford it.
Then you, the JFF, find a way, get some funding and create your own academy, and don't depend on the clubs if they're not finding a way to do it, because the clubs must take some flack as well. I say Cavalier, they're playing younger players in bigger events in terms of football, and it's working out. So we need more clubs to do that. So JFF, you can also. So all need to come together to get the job done, because we can't depend on England C to come and help us all the time. It's not working. It has not worked.
Bring back the under 21. That was one of the better moves made by the JFF.
No.
Under 21.
Well, but at a lower age, I agree, but called under 18.
Well, a national tournament at under 18.
Yes, we need to.
All right, but you have to have a national age group competition.
Yes,
right?
No Money Cup. It's not working.
You get the distinct impression that the people that are running football in Jamaica, they're not in step with what is happening on the international stage. For years, first world countries are footballing nations. They have academies. Yeah. How we don't have a national academy? We have broken ground here. What must be about 5,000 times. Down Monroe, and you break ground, so it must be oil we're drilling for, but we continue to break ground and no academy. We have to get it right.
We have to get it right. We need to get it right. All right, that's it for now. Remember, like, what them say, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this wonderful video. I am Matthias.
Stay tuned.